Put two rulers on a desk. On the first, the zero mark sits right at the physical edge of the material. Line up the end of the ruler with the start of whatever you are measuring, and the scale begins immediately. On the second ruler, there is a small blank space before zero appears. A few millimeters of wood or plastic that carry no numbers and serve no immediately obvious measuring function. A small gap that most people have seen on a ruler and never stop to question. Both rulers measure accurately. Both will give you the same reading for the same object, but their starting points are physically different, and if you press them side by side, the difference is visible and deliberate. Why would a measuring tool place its reference point away from its own physical edge? Let's get into it right here on Small Things. The edge is not the reference. Every measuring instrument has a datum, a defined reference point from which all measurements are taken. The datum is a chosen location established during design and manufacturing, and it may or may not coincide with where the material ends. On a ruler, the datum is the zero mark. On a spirit level, it is the calibrated bubble position. On a block gauge, it is a precision reference surface. In every case, measurement accuracy depends on the datum, not on the physical edge. The blank space before zero is one way a ruler separates its datum from its edge, making each independent of what happens to the other, so that the measurement survives conditions the material may not. How the gap got there. The rulers most people encounter in school and offices are typically made of wood, plastic, or lightweight metal, produced in large batches and cut to their final dimensions after the scale is applied. The manufacturing process matters here. When a scale is printed, engraved, or stamped onto a sheet of material before the individual rulers are cut apart, the cutting operation has to land precisely at the right position. If the zero line sits right at the intended cut position, any small variation in where the blade meets the material could slice into the scale itself, removing part of the zero mark or placing the physical edge a millimeter or two inside it. At the speeds and volumes of mass production, this kind of variation is normal. A small blank margin before zero means the cutting operation has room to land without endangering the scale. If the cut is slightly off, it removes blank material. The zero mark stays intact. This is one plausible explanation for the gap, and it is a practical one, but it is not the only one, and the two explanations are not in competition. They reinforce each other. A wooden ruler in everyday use has a hard life. It gets dropped onto tile floors. It slides across the sharp edges of ring binders and the metal zippers of pencil cases. Over years, the corners chip and the edges round. If the zero mark sat at that vulnerable edge, every chip would shift the starting point of the scale. A ruler that once measured accurately would accumulate error with every scratch on its corner. By placing zero a few millimeters in from the edge, the design creates a buffer. The edge can chip. The corner can round. The first few millimeters of blank material can be gone entirely, and the scale can still start at zero, because zero was never at the edge. The scratch zone and the reference zone do not overlap. These two explanations, manufacturing tolerance and physical durability, are both present in descriptions of ruler design. The practice appears in drafting manuals and manufacturing standards from the early 20th century, predating any systematic concern with educational design. Neither explanation is universally documented as the single original purpose, and the most accurate description is that the gap likely persists because it serves both functions simultaneously without any cost to accuracy. How the reference point actually works. Suppose the corner of a wooden ruler is chipped enough that the first centimeter of material is gone. If this were a ruler with 0 at the edge, the scale would be wrong. Every measurement it produces would carry that error silently. On a ruler with a recessed 0, the 0 mark survives because it was never at the edge. As long as the mark is still there, the ruler measures accurately regardless of what happened to the corner. There is also a technique for a more severely damaged ruler. If the 0 mark itself is gone but the 1 centimeter mark is still clear, align that mark with the start of the object, read the measurement at the far end, and subtract 1 centimeter. The result is accurate because the internal relationships between the scale's marks are intact, even when one end of the physical object is missing. This only works because the scale and the edge were always separate, the damage removed material, not the measurement system. Not all rulers separate the edge from the 0. A precision steel rule used in metalworking or engineering drafting often begins measuring from the physical edge itself. These tools are designed to be pressed against surfaces, slid into narrow slots, or held flush against the edge of a machined component. For that use, an edge start scale is more practical than a blank margin because the blank margin would introduce a systematic error every time the tool touched a surface. Accuracy in these tools is maintained by manufacturing the edge to a precise dimension rather than by protecting the scale from it. A tape measure solves the reference problem differently. The metal hook at the end is not fixed rigidly. It slides inward when measuring inside a space and outward when hooked over an edge. The movement equals the hook's own thickness. When measuring inside a cabinet, the hook removes its own thickness from the reading. When measuring from outside, it includes it. The hook moves, so the reference point is always correct regardless of which surface it contacts. The educational argument is thinner than it looks. There is a third explanation offered for the blank space before 0, that it was deliberately designed to teach children where measurement begins. The idea is that a child's first instinct is to line up the physical edge of an object with the physical edge of the ruler, and the blank space encourages the correct behavior. Alignment with 0, not with material. This is a real observed effect. A new user who encounters the gap and understands it will learn something true about measurement, that the reference point and the physical edge can be different things. The lesson is genuine. But the claim that this educational function was the original design intent is not strongly documented. The gap appears in rulers long before any documented concern with teaching measurement to children. Its presence in manufacturing and engineering contexts, where no educational purpose applies, suggests that the practical explanations came first. The educational benefit is a consequence that follows from the design, and it may be a welcome one, but presenting it as one of 3 equally confirmed design purposes overstates the evidence. The educational benefit only works if the user does not already know why the gap is there. Durability and manufacturing tolerance are functions the gap performs regardless of whether anyone understands them. The educational effect requires the user to notice the gap and draw the correct conclusion, which is a weaker mechanism than a genuine design constraint. 3. Measuring problems. 3 different tools. A primary school teacher has been using the same set of wooden class rulers for 15 years. Several of them have visibly chipped corners and worn edges from years of pencil cases and tile floors. She has never replaced any of them for inaccuracy. The 0 marks are intact, the scales read correctly, and students have been measuring with technically damaged rulers for a decade without knowing it, because all the damage stayed in the blank zone before 0. A product designer specifying a ruler for a new set of technical drawing instruments chooses a steel rule with 0 at the physical edge. The tool will be pressed against the edges of drawings and physical surfaces, and the designers need the scale to begin exactly where the tool touches. A recessed 0 would introduce systematic error in every measurement they make. For her work, the edge start is not a lesser version of the ruler, it is the correct one. A carpenter measuring the inside width of a cabinet opening reaches for his tape measure and hooks the end over one side. The metal hook extends slightly as he does it, and he reads the measurement at the other side. He does not know that the hook is designed to move, and he does not need to know. The tool solves the reference problem automatically. Every inside measurement he takes is correct, not because he understood the mechanism, but because the mechanism accounted for itself. Where the measurement actually begins. A ruler does not necessarily begin where the material begins. It begins at the reference point its design asks you to trust. Whether that point sits at the edge or a few millimeters inside, it reflects a decision about how the tool will be used, what it will be pressed against, and what its edge is expected to survive. The blank space before 0 is not wasted material. It is the designed distance between what the ruler is made of and where the ruler says measurement starts, and keeping those two things separate is what allows one to fail without taking the other with it. The most reliable part of any measuring tool is not its edge. It is the mark it asks you to align with, and how far that mark sits from the edge is a choice, not a coincidence. If this changed the way you look at the ruler on your desk, let us know in the comments what you want us to explore next. We might make it our next episode. Thanks for watching. History often hides in the smallest details.